Welcome to Construction Champions Podcast, where we are burning the house down and rebuilding it twice a week. I'm your host, Ron Nussbaum, and I am here to help you become the champion that you're meant to be. Along with our amazing guests along the way, we will provide you with the resources, the latest and greatest. You will sit down with disruptors in the construction industry. And my goal from day one has always been to change the mindset around the construction industry. No more where we let the 3%. Welcome back, Construction Champions, to another episode. I'm your facilitator, Ron Nussbaum, and I get to have the conversations. I get to lead the change of the mindset around the construction industry by bringing on amazing guests and having conversations on how your life can be better, your business can be better, your relationships can be better. We look at this from a whole holistic perspective. And it's not just Ron Nussbaum rambling for 20, 30 minutes. We bring on experts, and today is no different. John, it is fantastic to have you here with us.
Thank you. It's fantastic to be here.
Awesome. Well, before we dive into it, why don't you introduce yourself to all the construction champions out there?
My name is John Stuart Hill. I'm the founder of the Good Contractors List. We started this in Dallas-Fort Worth back in 2011. And it is the first and only resource out there that has contractors from every field that we back with a $25,000 guarantee. There's never been anyone who has stood in the middle between a homeowner and a contractor before. And so I have some unique perspectives. And so, but I'm a man on a mission to make sure that homeowners can find good contractors and feel safe, and that the Good Contractors List are noticed. The good contractors are noticed.
Awesome. Well, a man after my own heart, out there changing the perception of the industry. That's why this show exists. So let's dive in there, and I'm going to ask you the $1 million question, and that is, what makes a construction champion?
Well, when you think about a champion, you think about someone who excels above everyone else. And what I truly believe is a real champion is ones that will interact with others. And so I like to see that when good contractors, champions work together, they build a team that wins championships. And so it's not just a lone ranger out there trying to be better than everybody. It's when we work together that we can truly be champions.
I love that. And working together is a hard part in the construction industry for some reason. Don't quite understand it, but there's a lot of egos involved, and people are just out here trying to do it themselves. When if we would really just come together, it would benefit everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've proven that here in Dallas-Fort Worth.
How has that worked out? Like, dive into that a little bit, how you're doing that in Dallas.
Well, it's a little different because a lot of people want to compare us to resources like Angie's List or Home Advisor, because we represent a list of contractors. But what we did differently is that we held ourselves accountable and hold ourselves responsible for the finished product of every contractor on our list. And we're talking about every job they do, not just stuff that comes through our website. So by being a third party that takes responsibility, we've changed the hiring process, where it used to be just a two-way agreement whenever a homeowner and a contractor are doing business together, which, by the way, every horror story you've ever heard started with a two-way agreement. Because at the end of the thing, if there's disagreements, it's just your word against the contractors. And what we've managed to do here in Dallas-Fort Worth is pull together a collective of contractors that do business right and that we guarantee will do business right. And so with that concept, we've been able to direct a lot of people to the website, thegoodcontractorslist.com, and the contractors act together to start building the community. And so we call that a safe contractor community, and we're building them literally across the nation now. We just went nationwide a few months ago and already in 18 states. And so it's growing quickly, and we're finding good guys.
I love that. So what has been the reception of having these conversations with the contractor? I would think the homeowners would be excited about it, but on the contractor's side, what has that been like?
It's a little, it's funny because things have been one way for so long that, and like you were saying, there's a lot of egos. There's a lot of people who have really, they strive to be the best. And so I hear a lot of times, what do I need your guarantee for? I guarantee my work. Everybody knows that I'm a good guy, and the truth of the matter is, because there's so many bad guys out there, unfortunately, they're lumped in with everybody else. And so it takes a lot of work to really set yourself apart. But in the end, it's still just a two-way agreement. And homeowners feel just as scared going into a job with you. They don't know who you are. And so, especially now with AI and how fake everything can be, reviews can be bought. There's so many things that factor in, and homeowners just don't know where to go. And so, when I actually get to talk to them and I explain that there's a third party involved here, it's not just them and the homeowner. And we like to call ourselves the voice of truth, because there's a lot of times that homeowners work over contractors. I don't know if you've experienced that at all, but especially since there's so many places that they can review and write things that are just horrible about somebody. They don't care about destroying their business. So we're that voice of truth in the middle, that will get between a homeowner and a contractor, find out what's really going on. And once the contractor gets that, they realize that they're now positioning themselves differently than other contractors when they're talking to their homeowners.
So how does that work with a three-party agreement, or what does that look like?
Well, we do a really deep investigation on the contractors that come into our business. We're very picky about who we do business with. They need to be in business a certain amount of time. So we do all the screening that we would do for our own home. And then we have a lot of follow-up that happens with that. But what I found, and this is something very interesting, is that probably a lot of the guys who've been labeled bad were not bad at all. They were good guys. But homeowners are so scared, and they live in this fear that they're going to be taken advantage of, made to look like a fool, that they're hesitant to hire anybody. And as soon as that first bump in the road happens, which is inevitable, there's no company that's perfect. There's no, that something gets ordered, they order the right part, but the wrong part comes in. And then all of a sudden the homeowner starts questioning things. And so what we're finding is that 99% of the issues that happen between homeowners and contractors can be fixed by just having this third party in the middle saying, I am going to be here with you through this thing. Let the contractor get done with the job. And so it's been a really experience that I have been proud to be a part of.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm a big component of that. We let the few bad eggs control the entire reputation for the construction industry. Like, you have bad eggs in every industry, but for some reason in the construction industry, and I think a lot of it has to do is we accept it as being reality, is that everybody's looked bad upon until you prove otherwise. It's not like just because there's a bad lawyer or a bad doctor, it's not like this whole scape of, well, all of them are bad. But in the construction industry, our customers look at us and they say, well, you guys are all bad, because there's been a few bad eggs out there that have done a bad project for somebody's third cousin's sister's husband or something. Like it's like craziness, but we allow that reputation to proceed because we don't do anything to say, hey, no, like, we're not all bad. Like, most of us are just good people out here trying to do the right thing and just do what we love to do. And it sounds like you're trying to help bridge the gap in that between the homeowners and the contractors.
Yeah, it's funny because I think a lot of times I feel more like a counseling group than anything else, because it's more like restoring relationships. Because fear really will tear up a relationship quick, and homeowners are not afraid to to go out there and start writing bad reviews before you're even done with your work. And so taking away some of that fear really does help that relationship. And when a contractor can say, hey, listen, it's not just me. If you have an issue with me that you don't feel like you can come to me about, go to the Good Contractors List. They hold me accountable. They make sure that I do what's right. And so we'll bring in this third party if we have an issue, and it usually just it smooths over pretty quickly as soon as they realize they're not alone. And that's the broken system that's out there. Is every homeowner, in most cases, it's just them and the contractor.
Yeah. So you really sought to become a mediation part of this.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, here in Dallas Fort Worth, I will go out with a contractor out to the home if we need to, but it's very rare that it ever gets that far along that I actually have to go out and look at a job. Most cases, it's handled through email and phone calls and making sure that everybody's keeping up with what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, because I think what we're not good at is communicating the stuff with the homeowner, that there's stuff they have to do. There's obligations on both sides, and we don't create a lot of clarity. And the clarity is, like you said, every project's going to have issues, but we don't do a good job of addressing the stuff that's not going to be an issue, letting that snowball into an issue. And then there is something, and homeowners feel the only leverage they have is to go online or go to social media and start trying to, like, they stir the pot with that because they feel like that's the only option they have.
It is. It's either that or legal action, and that never wins for anybody. It really doesn't.
Yeah. So is that when a contractor is presenting this, so this is part of the sales process, it becomes part of the sales process, is that we're part of this network, there's this guarantee, and how does that look?
I like to it's kind of like the law of reciprocity. You've probably heard of that before. Like if you give somebody something of value, they in turn want to do business with you, or they want to do something in return for you, a lot of times. So that's reciprocal, right? And the way I like our contractors to do it is we give them the tools that they need. They will receive what we call a leave behind. And so when they meet the customer, because that's probably the scariest part for both sides, really, is when you first meet the person, it's like, is this guy going to be good? Is he going to care about me? And so I like to use their association with us in a way that's reciprocal. So here in Dallas Fort Worth, we have a full boat of contractors. So our contractors will hand the leave behind to them when they meet them at the door, and just say, hey, listen, I'm an air conditioning guy, but you can find a roofer here, you can find a plumber here, anything that you need for your home, this is the place to go, because they're all guaranteed to do a good job. You're not going to get ripped off here. And so as a collective, if every person that is working in their arena, in their area, work together to get homeowners to start coming to the website, pretty soon they've built a really, what I call a safe contractor community. And then they can refer everybody back to the Good Contractors List. A lot of the guys here in DFW actually network together and refer each other and get to know each other. So it's really quite a different thing.
Yeah, I can see where it could lead to like local meetups and stuff where people are networking and getting to know each other, and not just it's not as transactional.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and we're just stronger together. And the more that we can build a strong team in whatever city we're in, the stronger the team is. And the more that we're telling homeowners, this is the safe place to go. Next thing you know, we've got one of the best probably lead sources that you could have is that we're all referring each other. This and it's what I call collective authority marketing, because we're a collective policing, making sure we've got the right guys all the time. And it becomes a living organism. It's like, we raise the standard, and if you don't meet the standard, I don't want you on this team, and so it's really kind of cool. It's self-policing, really, as because I'd worked in different kind of marketing places, and I've never heard anybody say, well, if somebody else is advertising with you, I don't want to do this. But that was one of the first things I noticed when I started this in 2011, was that contractors knew who the good guys were and they knew who the bad guys were. The bad guys usually had a lot of more money than they did. And so they're like, man, if that guy's advertising with you, I don't want to be on your list. And basically what they were saying is, do you have the integrity to truly put good guys here? And the answer has been yes for now 14 years.
So how did this all start? What was the key moment that was like, we need to do this?
I was not a business person. Matter of fact, and I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about God on this thing, but
As much as you want.
okay, because I had a heart attack in 2011 and was really at the bottom. I was really at the bottom of my life at that point. I had been praying that God would take me off this planet. I didn't know if I was a Christian anymore. I didn't know what my direction was, but I had a really amazing moment in the hospital where God and I had kind of a talk, and I'd had a heart attack, a massive heart attack. And he gave me, I felt like he said, do you want to stay or do you want to go? And further than that, I felt like he said, if you decide to stay, I'll be with you and I'll give you a purpose. Now I was the same guy, but knowing that I had a purpose really made a big difference. And I had not done anything, but I was selling coupons at the time. That's the job I had. And so, so I didn't come into the business world as a professional businessman, and matter of fact, my resume, I probably wouldn't even hire me to work here, based on where I was at that point in my life. But 6 months later, I was selling coupons to some contractors, and one guy said, hey man, I don't think I have enough money to really afford the whole area by myself, but I know 2 other guys that I would recommend wholeheartedly that I would like to maybe share the ad with. And it started me thinking, and the next thing you know, it just started downloading that, maybe I could be the guy that could protect people. And if I'm going to do that, then I need to have skin in the game. And so I started this with no money, no education, no business experience, none of it. It was just, I knew that that God had put something in me that was purposeful. And so I saw this as the purpose he had put me here for. And so I just started talking to contractors. I went out with my yellow legal pad before I had a website and said, this is what I feel like I'm supposed to do. And people, it was just like the favor was there, and contractors saw what I was trying to do. They saw that it was genuine, and they said, if you can make this happen, I want to be there. And we've had our 4th annual 10-year dinner just recently, and a lot of those guys are still here after 14 years, because they felt like it was really something different that we were doing there.
That's absolutely amazing. And how do you see this continuing to grow now that you're growing nationwide? That's a whole different machine in itself.
Oh man,
How do you see that as it continues to grow? It sounds like it's rapidly growing. So what's the plans with that?
well, what's amazing is that we're not going to have to be, I mean, while we are an oversight and while we do take responsibility for all the work, the way that this market here in DFW came together is really the good contractors wanting to be separated from the bad guys, and them taking pride in that, to the point that they brought in other contractors who they knew would not do wrong. And so I see that this thing is more of a movement really than a business. I look at it that way. My CEO might look differently. He's more of a structure, and let's make sure the bottom line, we're able to pay all the bills and all those things. But we're making this very simple for good contractors to come together. I'll just even tell you what our rates are right now. It's $500 setup fee and $250 a month. And I think as we start building these safe contractor communities, they're going to grow organically, and it's going to grow rapidly. And we're here on this side, just going to be able to let's make sure, we have the best background check software there is. So we're going to be trying to do a lot of that. But a lot of the people who are coming on are coming from good contractors who go, no, this guy's good, I want him. And building a team in every city. And so that's how I see it happening, is that it's going to be more of a movement, and we're going to raise the standard. And when people start really hearing about the Good Contractors List and start going there for all their contractors, now we've set a bar that other people are going to want to try to match. So I feel like it really is going to affect the whole nation in the way that we hire contractors, and how contractors really try to strive to be excellent.
Yeah, so it's really an organic movement where people want the people they know involved in it.
That's right.
That's awesome, man. I love it.
Yeah.
But I do have to ask the question is, what if a project goes sideways? You guys are guaranteeing that. What does that look like?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's usually we can get involved if we've screened right. It's probably a misunderstanding, and we'll get involved right away. So no matter what, a homeowner, all they have to do is register. It's free to them. It costs them nothing. They get in contact with us and say, hey, I have a problem here. We start the communication back and forth. 99% of the time, it gets solved with that alone. Sometimes there's been times that we actually have to go out to the house, and even nationwide, we're going to be hiring inspectors, true inspectors that are not on our side. They're going there to find out, did this guy do what he was supposed to do? And right now we have a $25,000 guarantee, which says that if that contractor isn't willing to fix whatever he messed up, then we will pay that out of our own revenue. It's not an insurance policy. This comes out of revenue. But I can tell you, in 14 years, we've come out of pocket $127,000, and we've backed over $5 billion worth of work. So our system has been fantastic. Our screening system's good. And again, because those contractors are usually associated with other contractors, man, it makes it so strong. It's like I said, a living organism.
I love it. So for our listeners that are listening that are thinking they would want to be involved with this, you had mentioned there's some pretty strict criteria. What is some of that, so they have an understanding if they're at that point, or if they still got to put in some work before they can reach out?
Sure. Well, I mean, a lot of it is, perspective. Online reputation is important. We look at reviews. We do. If you're a member of the BBB, everybody kind of knows that really doesn't mean a whole lot, unfortunately. But we don't want an F there. If people are looking at them, we want you to look like a solid contractor. You need to be in business. You need to have been in the business at least 5 years and owning the business at least 3 years. What we found is that a lot of times people are great at their craft, but they're really bad at managing business. So we have to get over that hump and go, okay, do you know how to manage money so you're not robbing Peter to pay Paul? Looking at things like that. The bottom line is, if somebody has integrity, and we interview everybody, we're still, even though we can't sit down face to face across a table doing things like this, we can get a good feel of, is this person that guy that doesn't think he does anything wrong. Those guys are one of the worst people to kind of deal with, is the people that are so arrogant about what they do, because they're going to fight you if you tell them they did something wrong. Same with the homeowner. So anyway, we look at all kinds of things. Are they going to be the kind of people that represent us? We've taken people off our list for being just rude in how they talk to people, and it could be personalities. But we, so we're looking for just the guy that wants to do the right thing all the time, who is focused on presenting himself in the right way. And then it's going to be follow-up after that. We're going to hear from homeowners. When we put out that we're the Good Contractors List and we have a $25,000 guarantee, believe me, if somebody does something wrong, we hear about it. So, so I need somebody that's going to represent us well, who will help us build a community in their area, especially if they know other services. Here in Dallas Fort Worth, there were people in the same service saying, I'm a plumber, but I know two other good plumbers that are, either in the next city or actually even serves this area that I would want on this list, because those are the kind of guys you want. So when you start working together, that's the kind of guys that we're looking for, is someone who wants to build a community of good contractors.
Awesome. And it sounds like it's not just contractors, it's all pretty much home services.
It's all home services. Yeah. Plumber. I mean, we've got window tinters, pressure washers, anything that someone would need for their home. You can find it here in Dallas Fort Worth. And according to how that group grows in your city and any other city in the nation, we can have that full boat anywhere. And the more they work together, the more they get their homeowners to register. It's building a platform that is going to drive business into the places that deserve to be recognized.
Awesome, man. I love it. I absolutely love it. For everybody listening, if they wanted to connect with you, learn more about it, where's the best places for them to do that?
Yeah, just go to the website. It's thegoodcontractorslist.com, thegoodcontractorslist.com. If you're a homeowner and you know a great contractor, and you refer them, there's a link on our site that says refer a contractor. And we actually give $125 finder's fee if they meet all of our criteria and become a partner with us. For contractors, there's a link that says become a good contractor. And then it gives all the specifics that we look at. And then you just fill out that initial screening form and we will get with you.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you for taking the time and being on the show.
Thank you for having me here. I really appreciate it, Ron.
Awesome. All right, everybody. There is another episode in the bag. Where, this podcast started with one mission in mind, and that was to be part of the change in the mindset around the construction industry that is going to have to happen to take us where we need to go as an industry. And the stuff like what John's doing here is part of changing that mindset, that perception. Perception is reality. What homeowners believe, even if we don't believe it, is unfortunately how we are looked at as an industry. And I don't believe we're as bad as everybody thinks we are. It's just that's not the facts, but that is the reputation that has perceived us for generations. And we need to change that, because that's the only way the industry moves forward. We should be in the same conversations as doctors and lawyers. We're the people that build America. We're the people that maintain this country. And we just let the bad eggs ruin it for all of us. And we need to take that power back. It's with great things like what John's doing that we're able to start to take that power back and start to change that reputation. So construction champions, until next time, be the champion you're meant to be.